Hello, you're watching TelecomTV. We are reporting from Barcelona in Spain, Catalonia indeed, from the OpenStack Summit 2016. I'm talking with Charlie Ashton, Director of Business Development at Wind River. Charlie, as usual, great to see you, even though it's only been a fortnight.
Afternoon, Martin. It's really good to see you again. It's always good to talk to you.
Thank you. But let's get straight to it, shall we? We're here at this big OpenStack event, and as you know, it's a different kind of event this, because there are a lot of developers here, en masse, 5,000 of them, and my word, can't you tell, there's not a suit to be seen. There's hardly any trousers to be seen. There's a lot of shorts and sarongs and things. It's very entertaining, and they work really hard, but it's not the usual sort of gatherings that we go to, by any means, where the suits are. But OpenStack is important, is it not? What role do you think it can play in helping CSPs transform and virtualize their network?
Well, OpenStack has really emerged as the de facto standard technology for managing virtual machines as the telcos move towards implementing virtualization in their networks. Essentially what they're doing is they're taking advantage of all of the innovation from those thousands of developers that you just mentioned, the innovation that was originally applied to enterprise and IT use cases. And this allows them to leverage that as they now move forward to virtualize applications and virtualize services on the networking side of the house, which in theory is a very good approach for them to take. Of course, it's not quite as simple as it sounds. OpenStack was designed for enterprise requirements, which are slightly different from telco carrier grade requirements. So there's definitely work that has to be done in order to make OpenStack really usable in a production telco network.
You brought me beautifully on to the next question, because I was just going to say is that OpenStack was, of course, originally created as an infrastructure as a service product, if that's what you want to call it. Do you think then, given this emphasis now on telco NFV, so-called carrier grade NFV, etc., can it meet the rigorous requirements that is absolutely vital to keep a published switch telephone network or a telco going?
Well, a plain vanilla OpenStack distribution that was designed for an enterprise IT application absolutely does not meet the requirements for reliability, security, resiliency, or scalability or performance that you need for a telco network. And that's the problem that we solve at Wind River. We brought into the company several years ago a team of telecom experts who also understood all of the nuts and bolts of OpenStack, and they worked really hard to implement a large number of OpenStack patches, which we then provided to the community, that solves those challenges. So we ended up developing a product called Titanium Server, which is our integrated NFV infrastructure platform that is based around OpenStack and incorporates all of these enhancements that I just talked about, so that the resulting platform can deliver the carrier grade reliability, security, and performance that the telcos really need.
Okay, so we're getting there.
Oh, we're there.
There already.
We're there.
Do it.
Titanium Server can be deployed today into production telco networks. We're there. Great
stuff. Okay, then can we go back to OpenStack and the plethora, we might say, of open initiatives that there seem to be out there, open source initiatives. There's OpenNFV, there's Open Daylight, there are many other open ones, or have it open somewhere in the title. How does OpenStack integrate with those different open initiatives? How does it work, and do you think it's doing it successfully?
The initial project for OpenNFV is an NFV infrastructure platform that's based on OpenStack.
Yeah.
So by definition, the integration is already there, given the architectural approach that they decided to take. And Open Daylight, right from the start, was engineered to integrate with OpenStack and to interoperate with OpenStack. So yeah, I would say that the integration is pretty solid in terms of those two community projects.
One of the things that cloudification, network transformation, NFV, SDN, etc., and 5G, don't let's ever forget that, has brought to the industry in general is the collaboration and partnerships that didn't used to exist in the past, and we're seeing more and more and more of them taking place. Some are open-ended, some are for a specific project or reason, whatever it may be. How does OpenStack fit into the center of it all?
Well, I think it's an interesting point of commonality. A big part of our focus with bringing Titanium Server to market, along with an ecosystem of complementary solutions, is working with partners who develop, the other software layers of the architecture that we don't.
Sure.
So we work with software partners who deliver OSS/BSS solutions, service orchestrators and virtual network functions, or VNFs.
Indeed.
Typically what we find when we engage with those companies is they've already done an integration with OpenStack. And if they've done an integration with OpenStack, then they're probably 80% of the way to having a product that will integrate and be validated cleanly with Titanium Server. If they haven't started with OpenStack, then they've got a lot of work to do to get to that point. So certainly we find it very helpful when we work with companies, and one of the first things we find out is the level of integration that they've already done with a vanilla OpenStack distribution.
Got it. Now, as a vendor, how is Wind River integrating OpenStack into your network transformation solutions for CSPs? And if you can, tell us any that you're allowed to. Tell us any of the real experience that you've had.
It's one of the key elements of the Titanium Server network virtualization platform. You know, Titanium Server is all based on open source projects. It's besides OpenStack, it's based on Linux and KVM and Ceph. But we use OpenStack to do the VM lifecycle management that obviously is a critical function within the control node. As I mentioned, you know, our team has done an extensive set of enhancements to OpenStack to allow it to meet the reliability and security performance requirements that you need for a carrier network. And then we've upstreamed all of those patches. But it's absolutely key to our network virtualization platform.
Now, I don't know when it was, a week or so I guess, Dell announced that your Titanium solution as part of its NFV offering. Why did it pick you? There are others out there. And how important is it to you, and what does that combination bring as a solution that others do not?
Well, we think that Dell's decision to offer Titanium Server along with one of their rack mount servers, the PowerEdge R430, we think that's a very important decision, obviously not only for us, but also for the industry as a whole. What Dell has recognized as they work with their service provider customers is that service providers need to have NFV infrastructure software that provides the level of reliability, security, and performance that they need for production deployments of network virtualization in their telco networks. And as Dell looked at the different NFVI solutions that are available on the market, they decided to offer Titanium Server along with their hardware because they were convinced that Titanium Server would allow them to meet those very important needs that they hear about from the carriers.
I always like in events like this to sort of look forward to the next one, and there's a couple of these held a year, whatever, and the market's moving incredibly quickly. If you think back, it's barely 4 years since NFV was even first mentioned, and look at it now, it's being deployed in telecoms networks. It's astonishing the speed with which it's happened, given, you know, we know the history of how slowly things move in telcos. What do you see for Wind River and for OpenStack and for this entire ecosystem over the next 6, 12, 18 months?
So over the next 12 or 18 months, we're going to see significantly more deployment of our Titanium Server infrastructure platform. Initially in use cases like virtual CPE and mobile edge computing, some of the edge and access use cases, you know, where the business upside for the service provider is just compelling. I think we're also going to see some deployments around cloud RAN or virtualized RAN. Sometimes people use that term. And we're going to start to see some core network deployments, you know, use cases like virtual EPC, potentially virtual IMS.
Very interesting, good stuff as well. Charlie Ashton, great to see you again.
Thank you very much.